There are moments in sports when the cheers finally fade, the cameras stop flashing, and reality quietly returns. For Alexandra Eala, that moment arrived as she boarded a flight leaving the Philippines behind, ending an unforgettable homecoming that had captured the hearts of countless supporters. After weeks of celebration, emotional reunions, and overwhelming public support, the next chapter was already calling. The destination wasn't another ceremony or media event, it was the United States, where one of the biggest challenges of her young career now awaits.
For many fans, watching Eala leave wasn't just another travel update. It symbolized the end of a remarkable homecoming and the beginning of an even greater mission. Her recent rise has transformed expectations around her career. Every tournament now carries added significance. Every match attracts more attention, and every step she takes is followed closely by supporters who believe they are witnessing the emergence of one of the brightest talents in world tennis. But that's only the beginning. The journey to the U.S. Open isn't simply about arriving in New York. It's about navigating one of the most demanding stretches of the professional tennis calendar. The North American hardcourt season is known for its relentless pace, elite competition, and constant pressure. Every event leading into U.S. Open serves as both preparation and a test, with players looking to sharpen every aspect of their game before the year's final Grand Slam. For Eala, this transition is especially meaningful. Not long ago, she was viewed primarily as one of tennis' most exciting young prospects. Today, conversations surrounding her career have changed dramatically. Her recent performances have elevated expectations, generated worldwide attention, and placed her firmly among the rising names to watch on the WTA Tour. That increased attention also brings increased responsibility. Every opponent studies your game more carefully. Every performance is analyzed more closely. Every victory raises expectations for the next challenge. However, what happened before her departure made this trip feel different. During her time back home, Eala received an extraordinary welcome from supporters, reflecting just how much her achievements have resonated with fans in the Philippines. It wasn't merely about celebrating recent results. It was about recognizing the dedication, discipline, and years of sacrifice that brought her to this point. For many young athletes watching her journey, she has become proof that reaching the highest levels of international tennis is possible. Now, those celebrations are behind her. The focus shifts entirely back to competition. Training sessions become longer. Preparation becomes more intense. Small adjustments in footwork, serve placement, and match strategies suddenly become critical. Success at this level often comes down to tiny margins, and every day leading into the U.S. Open represents another opportunity to improve. Few people realize how mentally demanding this stage can be. After experiencing emotional celebrations at home, an athlete must quickly reset and return to the disciplined routine required to compete against some of the world's best players. The excitement of a homecoming can inspire confidence, but once competition begins, only preparation and performance matter. So why is this trip attracting so much attention? Because many believe the coming weeks could reveal just how far Alexandra Eala has progressed. Can she build on the momentum she has created? Can she continue proving herself against increasingly difficult competition? And perhaps most importantly, can she continue writing one of the most compelling stories in women's tennis today? Those questions won't be answered overnight. They'll be answered one match at a time. And as Alexandra Eala begins another important chapter of her career in the United States, the entire tennis world will be watching to see what happens next. As Alexandra Eala settles into the United States, the atmosphere changes almost instantly. The celebrations, interviews, and emotional homecoming are now replaced by practice courts, fitness sessions, and a demanding routine of life on a professional tour. The spotlight remains just as bright, but this time, every headline will be earned through performance rather than ceremony. That transition is one of the toughest challenges any athlete can face. It's easy to celebrate success. It's much harder to leave those celebrations behind and immediately refocus on the next objective. Yet, that is exactly what separates promising talents from players capable of building lasting careers. For Eala, the North American hardcourt swing represents far more than a series of tournaments. It is an opportunity to continue adapting her game to one of the fastest surfaces in professional tennis. Hard courts reward players who can strike the ball cleanly, move efficiently, and make smart decisions under constant pressure. Every point demands precision, and every mistake can quickly shift momentum. However, what makes this stretch of the season especially fascinating is the level of competition. Many of the world's best players use these events to prepare for the U.S. Open. That means nearly every match has the intensity of a major tournament. Even early round encounters can feel like championship battles because every player is trying to find rhythm before stepping onto one of tennis's biggest stages. For a young player like Eala, these tournaments provide invaluable experience. Every opponent presents a different puzzle. Some rely on overwhelming power from the baseline. Others patiently construct points, forcing long rallies and testing mental discipline. Still others mix aggressive net play with unpredictable shot selection, demanding constant tactical adjustments. Learning to solve those different styles is part of becoming a complete professional. And that's where many observers have noticed significant growth in Eala's game. Over the past several months, her movement has appeared increasingly confident. She has shown a greater willingness to stay composed during difficult moments instead of rushing points. Her court awareness continues to improve, allowing her to recognize opportunities earlier in rallies and respond with greater confidence. Those improvements don't happen by accident. They are built through countless hours of practice, video analysis, physical conditioning, and repeated match experience against elite competition. Few people see that side of the journey. Fans often remember the winning shots, the celebrations, and emotional moments after match. What they rarely see are the quiet mornings in the gym, the demanding training blocks, the recovery sessions, and the constant effort required simply to maintain a professional level. Those unseen hours are what prepare athletes for the moments everyone remembers. But perhaps the biggest adjustment isn't physical. It's mental. The expectations surrounding Alexandra Eala have changed dramatically. When she first began appearing on the international stage, she entered tournaments as an emerging prospect with relatively little pressure. Today, that's no longer the case. Opponents know who she is. Coaches study her tendencies. Fans expect competitive performances every time she steps onto the court. Managing those expectations can be just as difficult as handling a powerful serve or a long baseline rally. The best players understand that outside opinions cannot dictate performance. Rankings fluctuate. Headlines change. Social media reacts instantly to every result. None of that determines what happens between the lines of a tennis court. Only preparation does. Only execution does. And perhaps that's why Eala's current journey is attracting so much attention. This isn't simply about one tournament. It's about the next phase of her career. Can she continue translating promise into consistent results? Can she maintain the confidence that fueled her recent rise while continuing to refine the technical details that separate good players from great ones? Those answers will come through competition, not in press conferences or predictions, but point by point, match by match. Because as the countdown to the U.S. Open continues, Alexandra Eala isn't carrying only a tennis bag onto the practice court. She's carrying the expectations that come with being one of the brightest young talents in the sport. And the next chapter of that journey is only beginning. If there's one lesson the tennis world has learned over the past few seasons, it's that potential alone is never enough. Every year, dozens of talented young players emerge with impressive junior careers and flashes of brilliance on professional tour. But only a handful manage to transform that promise into consistent success against the world's elite. The difference isn't usually talent. It's the ability to adapt, improve, and perform under pressure over an entire season. That is exactly where Alexandra Eala now finds herself. The conversation surrounding her career is no longer centered on what she might become. Increasingly, it's about what she can accomplish right now. That's a significant shift, and it reflects the progress she has already made through dedication and steady development. However, with greater recognition comes greater scrutiny. Every aspect of her game is now being analyzed more closely than ever before. How effectively does she handle high-pressure moments? Can she maintain her intensity deep into long matches? How quickly can she adjust her tactics when an opponent changes strategy? Those are the questions that define careers at the highest level. One encouraging sign is Eala's willingness to embrace the learning process. Throughout her professional journey, she has shown that every tournament becomes another opportunity to improve rather than simply another event on the calendar. Wins provide confidence, while difficult matches offer valuable lessons that can shape future performances. That's the mindset shared by many of the sport's most successful competitors. They don't expect perfection. They expect progress. And progress often comes through the toughest challenges. Few fans realize how much preparation goes into facing different opponents on the WTA Tour. Coaches spend hours reviewing match footage, identifying patterns, discussing likely strategies, and preparing several game plans before a player even walks onto the court. Tennis may appear to be an individual sport, but behind every athlete is a dedicated team working tirelessly to maximize every opportunity. For Eala, that preparation has become increasingly important as she faces opponents with more experience at the highest level. Some players will attempt to rush points with aggressive baseline hitting. Others will test her patience by extending rallies, forcing her to make difficult decisions over and over again. Still others will vary pace, spin, and court positioning, challenging her ability to recognize patterns and adjust in real time. Success comes from solving those problems one point at a time. Perhaps one of Eala's greatest strengths is her composure. Even when momentum shifts during a match, she has demonstrated an ability to stay engaged and continue searching for solutions instead of allowing frustration to dictate her decisions. That quality cannot always be measured by statistics, but experienced tennis observers recognize how valuable it becomes during closely contested matches. Mental resilience often separates victories from narrow defeats. Another area that continues to attract attention is her competitive maturity. Professional tennis demands constant travel across continents, rapid adjustments to different climates and playing surfaces, and the ability to recover quickly between tournaments. Balancing those physical demands while maintaining focus is one of the biggest challenges any athlete faces. Eala is still building that experience. Each trip adds another lesson. Each tournament expands her understanding of what it takes to compete week after week against world-class opposition, and that experience could prove invaluable as the season progresses. Looking toward the U.S. Open, the objective extends beyond simply participating. Every match leading into the tournament offers an opportunity to sharpen timing, build confidence, and develop the consistency required to challenge strong opponents on one of tennis's biggest stages. Of course, success in professional tennis is rarely defined by a single result. Careers are built through steady improvement over months and years. There will be victories worth celebrating. There will also be difficult losses that reveal new areas for growth. Both are essential parts of the journey. For Alexandra Eala, this chapter is about embracing that process while continuing to earn respect through hard work, discipline, and determination. As she prepares for the next challenge, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. The story isn't simply about where she has been. It's about where she could be heading. And if her recent development is any indication, the most exciting chapters of Alexandra Eala's career may still lie ahead. Every athlete reaches a point where the applause from one achievement must give way to the pursuit of the next. For Alexandra Eala, that moment has arrived. The excitement of her return to the Philippines created memories that she and her supporters will likely cherish for years. It was a reminder of how deeply her journey has resonated with people back home. Young tennis players saw someone who had followed an ambitious dream onto the international stage. Longtime sports fans witnessed another Filipino athlete competing among the world's best. And families across the country found a story of perseverance that extended well beyond tennis. But professional sports never stand still. The calendar moves forward. The next tournament begins. The next opponent prepares. And the next opportunity must be earned all over again. That reality is exactly what makes the upcoming week so compelling. As the U.S. Open approaches, every practice session carries added importance. Every training drill is designed to sharpen reactions by fractions of a second. Every fitness workout is intended to ensure that energy remains high deep into demanding matches. At this level, the smallest improvements often make the biggest difference. It's a reminder that success in professional tennis is rarely built on dramatic overnight changes. Instead, it comes from hundreds of small improvements repeated consistently over time. A slightly more accurate serve, a stronger return of serve, better movement into the corners, smarter shot selection under pressure, greater confidence on crucial points. Those details may seem minor individually, but together they define the difference between competing and contending. For Alexandra Eala, continuing to refine those details will be one of the keys to long-term success. Another important factor is experience. Every season on the WTA Tour introduces new challenges, unfamiliar opponents, and different playing conditions. Learning how to adjust quickly is one of the defining characteristics of elite professionals. Veteran players often rely on years of accumulated experience when momentum shifts during a match. Younger players build that same confidence one tournament at a time. Eala is still in that process of growth, and that's one reason many tennis analysts continue to watch her development with genuine interest. Her journey is not only about immediate results. It's about building the foundation for a career that can remain competitive at the highest level for years to come. Of course, there will be difficult moments ahead. Every athlete experiences setbacks. There will be matches where nothing seems to go according to plan. There will be opponents who expose weaknesses, challenging her to improve even further. There will be disappointing losses that feel painful in the moment, but those experiences are not signs of failure. They are part of the education that every successful professional must go through. The players who endure are usually the ones who learn the fastest. As the tennis world turns its attention toward the U.S. Open, one thing is certain. Alexandra Eala has already demonstrated the determination required to compete on one of the sport's biggest stages. What comes next will depend not on expectations or headlines, but on the work she continues to put in every single day. And perhaps that is the most inspiring part of her story. She isn't trying to rewrite history overnight. She isn't chasing attention. She's pursuing excellence through preparation, discipline, and unwavering commitment to improvement. Whether the next tournament brings a breakthrough victory or another valuable lesson, the direction of her journey remains the same: forward. For fans in the Philippines, the farewell may have been emotional, but it also carried a sense of optimism. They understand that saying goodbye today means watching her compete tomorrow. Every time Alexandra Eala walks onto the court, she carries not only her own ambitions, but also the hopes of supporters who believe in what she represents. The road to the U.S. Open will undoubtedly test her in new ways. There will be pressure. There will be challenges. There will be moments that demand resilience, composure, and courage. Yet those are the moments that shape great careers. As Alexandra Eala begins this next chapter in the United States, one message is clear: the homecoming is over. The mission continues. And wherever this journey leads next, tennis fans around the world will be watching with anticipation, eager to see how one of the game's brightest young talents continues to write her story. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Alexandra Eala's journey, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more in-depth tennis coverage, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next update. Until next time, thanks for watching.